Monika Tarkowska-Carter of Fitness Science. Today we're going to talk about fat. The question that I get from many people, clients and friends and people I meet, is fat really bad? And fat has been made into a villain, a source of all evil in the media over many years in this country. It's thankfully changing slowly, but it is changing, and I know that a lot of you are probably educated enough that you know that there are certain fats that are bad, certain fats that are good, but I think this distinction is still not quite clear. Certain fats are known to be bad, and so let's list them here. All trans fats, partially hydrogenated vegetable oils, and fully hydrogenated vegetable oils. We know that they contribute to heart disease in a very big way. They decrease the good cholesterol, which is your HDL cholesterol, and they increase the bad cholesterol, the LDL cholesterol, and this in and of itself will contribute to heart disease. They also have been known to be stored around the abdomen, and this is really a dangerous area to accumulate fat because your abdominal fat is very active hormonally, and it releases certain hormones into the bloodstream that are can be very problematic. Too many polyunsaturated fats are not good either. We all need them, but let's talk about the polyunsaturated fats and how they are divided. Polyunsaturated fats are omega-6 and omega-3. Most of you know that omega-3 are the healthy ones, touted to be anti-inflammatory. They are in fish, all sorts of cold water fish, flaxseed meal, flaxseed seeds, and so on, some in walnuts. And we know that this fat is really beneficial. It works against inflammation in your body and is needed in quite high amounts. However, omega-6 fats, which are also polyunsaturated fats, come mostly from vegetable oils and also grains. Grains do have, of the fat that they do have, even though it's a fairly slow amount, most of them are polyunsaturated. And omega-6 fats are pro-inflammatory. And the problem is that in our society, we have completely changed the ratio of what the proper ratio should be of omega-6 to omega-3. The ideal ratio would be somewhere between 1:1 to 4:1 of omega-6 to omega-3. In our society, especially in this country, the ratio is more like 10:1, and in some cases as high as 25:1. And that causes a lot of problems, and it's been shown by research that it is definitely contributing to heart disease. And I think a lot of people are still not aware of that fact. Nut and seed oils, which are a combination of monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats, are generally really healthy, provided they are fresh, and they should all be, both nuts and their oils should be stored in the refrigerator. Nuts shouldn't really be, the nut oil shouldn't be heated to high temperatures, so shouldn't be used for cooking, and the nuts shouldn't be really roasted. And as we know, most people love roasted nuts, and especially if roasted commercially at high temperatures, these fats become rancid, and that in itself produces free radicals, and they become very unhealthy. So if you're going to eat nuts, either eat them raw, even better sprouted, and if you want to roast them, then roast them at most for 10 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So fats considered very healthy and beneficial for their antioxidant qualities and being heart protective are of course olive oil and avocado oil, as well as olives and avocados themselves. Olive oil, however, should not be heated to high temperatures, and a lot of people don't realize that. Again, it becomes rancid. It causes the creation of carcinogenic compounds. But avocado oil is actually probably one of the best oils to cook with at high temperatures. And I highly recommend it. It doesn't have a lot of flavor. There are many great ones on the market, like lemon flavored or garlic flavored, and the smoking point of that oil is very high, probably one of the highest of all oils. So the most controversial fat is saturated fat for many different reasons. We have this sort of love and hate relationship with it. We love it because it tastes delicious. It makes a lot of foods taste delicious. We hate it because we have been told that it's the source of all evil, which it is not. During prehistoric times, before humans domesticated animals and introduced agriculture, and before we started eating dairy and grains, humans subsisted mainly on animal protein. When we were hunter-gatherers, we ate whole animals, including all the saturated fat, and supplemented our diets with some fruit, sweet berries, and vegetables to a smaller degree. And not until we started eating dairy and grains that the proportions of what we were eating, or the whole ratio of different macronutrients, completely changed. Research shows that cardiovascular or degenerative disease was actually not present at that time. Only recently we have discovered that there were signs of cardiovascular disease and artery plaque in Egyptians, in ancient Egyptians. Could it be, could the reason be that they started eating dairy and grains, and we know they ate both? We don't know yet. But we have not really been able to detect cardiovascular disease, especially, and some degenerative diseases in those very, very ancient or pre-ancient civilizations. So if saturated fat was truly so bad for us, we probably wouldn't be here today. So that's one of the points I wanted to make. But here's the problem: the quality of saturated fats. When we look at hunter-gatherers, they eat natural foods, and animals were designed by nature to eat grass, not grains. The meat that comes from grass-fed animals has a completely different fatty acid profile. It actually has very high amounts of omega-3, yes, the same omega-3 that you get in salmon and sardines and herring and anchovies and all that, because of the amounts higher in the grass itself. And it also has, generally it's a much leaner meat. So yes, you're eating saturated fat, but overall you're eating less fat. It also has very high amounts of CLA, which is conjugated linoleic acid, a substance that helps burn body fat. Commercially raised animals have antibiotics and hormones and different toxins in the feed itself that they are exposed to all the time. And remember that fat tends to accumulate toxins. So as the toxins accumulate in the fat, if you're eating commercial meats, and especially the fatty cuts, you are getting all those toxins that were in the animals stored in their adipose tissue into your body. And that in itself is a very, very negative fact for heart disease and any other disease, actually. So the question of saturated fat in human health is still very important, and most people don't realize that there is really no conclusive research as of yet that shows that saturated fat is bad for human health or that it causes heart disease. Yes, we do have research, but this is the research that shows correlation but not causation. And I'm not going to go into the reasons why we all believe, or we're made to believe, that saturated fat is bad for us. Some of it has to do with food politics, some of it has to do with drug company politics, and so on. This is not a subject of this particular conversation here. Saturated fat is extremely important for many bodily functions. It is needed in times of stress. Your body needs it to produce all the sex hormones, and the problem is that if we completely stop eating dietary cholesterol and we don't get it from foods, then your body kicks in, since your body is very smart, as we know, and it will increase your body's own production of cholesterol because it has to keep up with the demand. So that's one of the big misunderstandings of fat in our society. One of the healthiest sources of saturated fat is organic virgin coconut oil. If you're worried about cholesterol, it has no cholesterol because it is not an animal food, but it is a wonderful food from nature that's used all over Asia, where there's actually very little heart disease. Coconut oil is great for cooking, it's great for eating, for baking, and salad dressings, you name it. And it can be heated to very high temperatures because it has a pretty high smoking point. It's very stable at high temperatures, so you can cook just about anything with it. And it also has very important antimicrobial, antiviral, and antifungal qualities, which a lot of people don't know about. So there are many, many benefits to eating coconut oil, and if you're so concerned about animal products, or let's say you're a vegetarian or you don't have access to organic grass-fed meats, that's definitely probably one of the best ways to supplement your diet with saturated fat. So look at the quality of the fats you're eating, but also the amounts. If you're trying to lose weight, you still have to look at the total amount of calories. For some people, it doesn't matter as much as for others. People who are protein types can handle much higher amounts of protein and fat and not be so concerned, but those don't eat a lot of carbohydrates, so the diet here is much more balanced in that way. For the rest of us, you still have to look at the amounts you're eating in just about anything. So before you make the fat your villain again, enjoy it in reasonable amounts, enjoy good quality fats, and make sure you have some in every meal, because it does make things taste better and it gives you satiety. If you're satiated, you will not be starving and you're much more likely to stick to your diet.